Yeah.
I was working really hard. And it sucked that companies were not seeing my potential. And I always wondered, like, I have the engagement online, I have the numbers, I'm working day in and day out, creating content, posting videos. How are you going to tell me to advertise something for half a year and offer me 20K? How is 20K going to feed me for 6 months?
No, that's the thing. You're viewing it from your own side. You're saying how hard you've been working, how you know, but does that really apply to whatever they want to do with your brand?
Any corporate.
And again, you working hard. What do you mean working hard? Putting out content every week.
Yeah, doing research, creating my own concepts, filming them by putting my phone on a table because I don't have a
you're
camera.
saying working with your products.
Working hard to create content. So I'm wondering
for yourself.
Yeah, whether it's
Then,
any
so
company.
you want them to pay you for your own
No,
content.
I'm wondering why they weren't paying me sufficiently
Yeah.
for my content. And then when I say, oh, this is too little, I can't afford to survive with this kind of money, because who can survive on 20K for 6 months? They say, but
Okay.
you're replaceable.
Okay. Oh shit, they told you that.
Everybody does that. Like when you're an influencer, people underpay you and they make you
Okay.
feel like you're replaceable.
Okay, quick question, yeah? Can you quantify your work?
Expand?
Like, can you say I'm worth 100,000 simply because of this, this, and this? Or do you just show up
Yes.
and just...
Yes. And I'll tell you who taught me how to do that. My old manager, who
Okay.
I don't really like that much now. But the one
Do we need to name people?
No names, but the one only smart thing he said in the whole year of us working together was, you need to know your value as a brand.
For sure.
So me as just Elle at home chilling with my family, like there's not much I'm offering, but as a brand, when I step out, I need to know my value. And I think that comes through research. So what I'll do is I'll look at Superwoman. She's some big YouTuber in the States, in Canada, I think.
Yeah.
I'll look at Superwoman and the content she produces, and Liza Koshy, because those are two international YouTubers people have compared me
I
to.
like her.
Yeah? So I look at them and I'll look at their statistics, their numbers, and compare it. Then I'll switch it and bring it to the African market, look at the Superwomans and Liza Koshis of Africa, and then do the same for Kenya. Do the numbers match up? I'm not going to have 100,000 followers and 200 likes. Do those numbers work? And
sure.
if so, with the numbers I have, how much do you think it's worth? And then reasonably, can it put food on the table?
Okay, here's another thing.
Yeah.
Do you know these people would actually pay you less simply because your influence isn't as much. Let me know, like, this is what I mean. For example, I'm selling liquor. This is not liquor, but I'm selling liquor, hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetical, of course.
And I need an audience, guys who actually buy alcohol. The age group will be from around 25 and above. Lord knows these kids only go somewhere, get a bottle, pre-gaming, then they just show up at a club.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk.
So I'd want an audience that would really, really buy this. And do you think you can bring me those people? Do you think 30-year-olds sit down and just look at Élodie and, oh, Élodie has this bottle, so I should drink it?
Okay, let me ask. We're talking about influence. Can there be different levels of influence? Like, perhaps I can get you. I learned this. I had a training session a month ago. Chebarwar.
This is where you come in. Magic box.
There was a training session I had, and we learned about the companies these days. They don't base success purely off revenue. There's also how the consumers see the product, how it makes the consumers feel about the product, kind of the perception, the view they have on the product. So these days, companies, like if you work, let me start off by saying social media influencers are more influential than celebrities, because we build our brands based off who we are as individuals. It's not this brand that a whole company has created for the public eye. Right?
Wait,
So
come again?
I was gonna link it back.
Pause on that. But you guys are celebrities. What's the difference between a celebrity and a streamer?
I'm not a celebrity.
But
That's just the next level.
I think a social media influencer, your main market is on the digital platform. It's not outside.
But
So
listen, you know my main issue with all these social media influencers, they all target the same audience. That's why it's easy for them to replace you.
is that an opinion or a fact?
It's a fact, man.
It's a fact.
If I
You're
get
telling
you
me-
here, any social media influencer that I get, any, their audience is almost similar. Because again, this internet consumption is mainly from millennials.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's no way I can come sell a home mansion on social media and expect Chris Kirubi to come onto my YouTube channel and say, oh, that mansion looks really good. You
Okay,
get-
so can I ask, like, can we at least agree that there are like different levels of influence?
no,
And I'm saying this because
as long as it's
the
on
same way
social media.
companies these days, that's what I'm saying. There's the revenue you can get, as in you give me this product and I can make people buy it, versus the visibility. And I can tell you, you know, an iPhone makes you feel like this is the experience, so I can sell you and make you feel a certain way. So there's different levels. I feel like a company can measure their success, because now in the day and age that we're in, it's not just about the bank.
Yeah.
Customers don't just want to put down money, they want to feel, they want to understand, they want to speak.
But relate
So,
all this to
how?
Kenya.
No, same thing for Kenya. Name me a Kenyan product. Like,
No, with Kenya, this is how I feel it always works. Kenya needs works in masses. You get what I mean? If I have over 12 influencers talking about the same thing, then it will make sense. You
so
get-
are we talking about
But
10
just one
influencers
person,
that are all
yeah.
the same, or one individual brand that stands out and you can actually
No, just
work?
10, as random as they could be, but just to make it look like a trend.
Then you know what you should not do by the time I know I've made it. And I had this conversation with you. I'm not an influencer. I'm Elodie Zone.
Okay?
Don't say, yeah, we have 10 influencers.
But
Say
you-
we have Nvirii the Storyteller. Say we have Elodie
Oh,
Zone.
yes,
Say
yeah,
we have
for sure.
Tanasha Donna. Say we have Shaq. Like, that's how you kind of know, because we're not just a group of influencers. Yeah, they have followers, whatever. We are brands that stand
Yes,
on
you
our own.
are, but when it comes to them, at the end of the day, you're influencers. No matter how you brand yourself.
And that just means we're all the same. We're like the minions. We're the minions, like in
Yes,
Despicable. Is it
exactly.
called Despicable Me? So we're all the same.
I said you are your numbers. They don't care who you are.
Exactly.
You're this person with 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
It just makes you numbers.
It does.
So we are our numbers, and that's why
And-
if Instagram crashed, half of us would not be relevant.
90%.
90%
of us
you
would
have
not be
an idea,
relevant.
Yeah. And that's the messed up
So
part.
how do you grow out of that then?
Well, first, you just have to have a new channel of, or not a new channel, but a new way of using your brand. If I don't know what I mean, you know?
A new way of using it. Yeah, no, I kind of get
Yeah.
you.
Not just being a social media influencer, just sitting there. Like get to the ground and okay, it's a good thing you guys are joining the mainstream radio. You know, radio, TV. That's one way of doing it. But just taking on, because through that, the audience, your reach is really wide.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming on Instagram, I'll come look at your Instagram. I look at Shaq's Instagram, Tanasha's Instagram. The funniest part is 90% of your followers are all the same.
God, that's so painful.
It is. So I'll call you to market this product. Then you quote like 100,000. I'll go get Shaq. I'll know that I'll get the same audience one way or another. And again, your brand determines what kind of gigs you get.
But if we're all the same, then we're all gonna get the same gigs.
Which you do.
Yeah, which you do.
Do
Funny
we?
enough, yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Most of you guys get the same deals.
There's two companies. Let me speak on
work in the
behalf
same
of.
place.
No. Let me speak on behalf of myself, right? Okay, no, we all work at the same place. No,
Yeah.
I admit
Exactly. It's not even
No,
where you
that-
work.
that. But is it bad? Is it bad to all be?
No.
You all do the same events.
Yeah.
Like an artist is touring.
Me, I don't. No, speak on behalf of myself.
Alright, but 90% you get like.
Ship in denial
Denial is the first step.
is the first step.
So basically, what you're telling me is that Kenyan influencers are the minions.
They are.
Until, have you watched Despicable Me too?
Yeah.
There's that purple one that's
Oh,
and
it's
he's
just
crazy
different, yeah.
until one of us becomes that.
Yeah, and yeah, and again, you guys have made it so. I don't know the word, but it's just so.
It's like school uniform.
It's just normal nowadays. Any kid can come up. I have 100,000 followers. I'm an influencer. You get. You don't put into consideration their skill.
It's painful.
I've literally seen people being invited over because they have a large following, but you look at their personality, you look at the skill.
Did they buy? Did they buy followers? Because it's so easy.
They
to
probably
tell.
they probably do it. They probably do it. But then at the end of the day, whether they bought it or not, a pretty face can get you 100,000 followers. But
Wow.
yeah, but it can't reflect into anything else.
What?
So as much as you're calling yourself an influencer with 100,000, then we have some other pretty face who doesn't even
Who picks her nose and it gets
yeah,
views?
and it gets views. That's why I'll give you this product. You'll post your own photo. You'll have like 20,000 likes. I'll give you this. It will have 200 likes.
So does that mean that I've just on behalf of myself, me who has been an influencer, it's like, take that back. Me who's been an influencer and I've been able to make it into mainstream media, which is radio.
Yeah.
Does that make me any better, or
It
am
does.
I just like anybody else?
does.
Because technically, all the radio hosts, like, of course, we have our individual personalities, the same way myself and Shaq have different personalities. But a radio host is a radio host, the same way an influencer is an
No.
influencer, a musician is a musician.
This separates you from the minions, because now it's your skill that has gotten you that far. Other than that, you're all the same. But simply because you have that X factor, you're able to go an extra mile.
Are you sure I didn't just get the job because I have numbers on an Instagram page?
Have you met yourself lately?
Ooh. I mean, when it comes to me, talk about me. You know,
Wow.
I mean, all I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about how guys are getting jobs simply because of the amount of zeros on the following
I doubt.
thing, then technically I may not even have skill. I may, to other people, be
That's
a
what
pretty face
people
on
assume.
radio.
You guys assume that these corporates or these companies are dumb enough to look at your followers and hire you. It doesn't work like that. It don't work like that. These people do their research.
Get in here. Okay.
I know, yeah. So you're one of the chosen few.
And I'm gonna make it. Let me put
Yeah,
that
you
out there.
are making it, man.
I'm not going to be an influencer. I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to be an influencer. I'm not going to be an image. I'm going to be a brand. So how do I transition from being an image to a brand?
Good. That is once you understand who you are.
Oh, it's about to get deep.
It's a combination of a couple of things. Just understanding your craft, your strong points. Know how to capitalize on them.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah. And then having a team to back it up.
This is the worst. This is a YouTuber's nightmare. Is having a team. No offense. It's YouTube.
Oh,
Ati, you want to
now
do?
that you wanted to shoot this to the phone.
Yeah.
Now, and you wonder why you guys never grow. You wonder why they pay you 20,000 rather than 100,000. I'm out of here. Offended. You don't do that, man.
Do you know I'm being put in my place? I'm being put in my place. But like, I feel like no. Let me tell you. Let me make it deep. Self-realization. Well, let me tell you. It's because as a YouTuber, like for me, when I started YouTube, I didn't have much self-confidence. People sing a sad song in the background. Sing a sad song. Sing a sad song.
I don't know any such songs.
Sing. Ding. You're going to be sing a sad song. I'm gonna
I'm
get
honestly
deep.
thinking of it. Oh, shit. Oh, Lord, you got me.
Yeah, are you
Okay.
talking badly about influencers?
No, but
Can you sing a beat? Anyway.
why you telling me sing a
was-
sad song then you?
So check, yeah. When I started YouTubing, I didn't have a lot of confidence. So, like confidence with being with people and social interaction, because I was being bullied. And so when I started YouTubing, of course it's just me and my phone, and I had an S4 at the time, Samsung S4. So I'd sit in my room and I'd create content, and I'd find my content interesting. Not that I'm self-obsessed, but I just kind of find my content interesting. And that's how I kind of started all of this. And so I learned to trust myself and only myself, to research, to shoot, if I need a script, to edit, to post, all of that. So now when it comes to working with a team, I don't know if anybody else can show the right side of me that I would want to show. I don't know if anybody else can make me look the way I want to look or present myself the way I would present it online. So that's why when it came to working with a team, it took a lot of practice and I had to trust myself.
You need to understand, what's the team for?
Who knows you better than you? Who knows you better than you?
Don't ever expect that from a team. Never.
Expect what?
Like them to know you better than who you are. Or to
So
listen.
how am I letting a team film
Listen.
my content?
Here's what I believe. My vision is mine. If someone else doesn't understand it, it's because they don't carry that same vision. So I wouldn't blame them, even if you're in my team. I'll just make you understand, I'll be hard on you and tell you, do this, put this glass here, move it here, and turn it here. At the end of the day, this will be the result I want.
I feel like male influencers, and let me make this broad, and entertainers can do that better and get a better response than female influencers and female entertainers.
Speak for yourself.
Dead serious.
Now, I've seen other ladies who command respect out here.
And how badly do people talk about them behind their back?
Well,
Doesn't matter.
But let a man do half the job, and I feel like
so now you're
not as
having
bad.
people talking behind your back put you down.
it's very hard if I'm sitting here with you and you and you and everybody doesn't like me. It's hard because how am I supposed to be
Change your
authentic
team.
and be myself?
Change your team.
I just feel like women are judged.
Change your team.
So let's just keep
Now you're-
changing teams.
Now you're caring about something that's irrelevant to your bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because everyone who you admire is a company. Drake is a company.
Yeah.
Drake doesn't shoot his videos.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not impossible, but it is a YouTuber's nightmare because most YouTubers tend to just start with themselves. So it's definitely not impossible. You can grow
You
into
have
it.
to start from. You
You
have
have to go into it. I had
You
to.
have to
I'm
know who
learning.
you are before you introduce other people into your circle. And
Yeah.
that mainly happens if you introduce people into your circle and they see a lot of doubt in your eyes. That's when they'll start coming up with opinions and suggestions and even talk bad. But if you're there and you know everything about, hey, okay, now look at me, shit, let me not stop. But if you're there and you have your ish put down properly,
Yeah.
they'll give you that respect. You command the respect that they give you. The moment you show up at a set, then you start asking your team, by the way, I'm not feeling confident about this. And what do you guys think? Should I do this?
I can't.
Should I do that?
I can't.
The moment you give them that opening, we've done a shoot before with the whole team. And my one rule was, the whole crew, let's never discuss anything in front of the cast. Let's not change the script in front
Real
of
talk.
them.
Being professional. Yeah.
Be professional. Just pull your people to the side, argue, fight, come back, and look good. Because that's the image they'll follow. They're minions.
So does that mean?
Sorry.
It's like how we shot your first video.
Exactly.
So does that mean
Hope you're learning.
influencers are fake because it's an image and it's not yet a brand? Does that mean that the life we portray? Because technically, if you have your life is 360 degrees, right? Everything is around you, but you're only gonna show them, say, like 20 degrees. All of this is being left out, which makes the 20 degrees seem like it's the entire 360. So does that, in a way, make you fake? And in the wise words of French Montana, they say fake it till you make it. That means you fake when you make it. Real talk.
Okay.
Deep breaths.
Hey, okay.
Deep breaths.
Now I was thinking of something else, then now you brought me into
Oh,
this whole
wait.
faking it till you make it. So I want to jump into that.
Okay.
Fake it till you make it. That in a way will always work. Because the audience like a certain image or perception of something. Once you know how to give them that, even being rich is not always about the money. It's just the image. I can show
That's
you that I'm
one.
rich.
Nvirii, you're going to go
Yep.
Yeah.
because on your Instagram, you have many. Let me paint the perfect picture for a dude. Let me see if I know dudes well. You have all the pretty shorties. You know, they got them long 30,000 shilling weaves and everything they're paying. All right, you got the shorties. You're being seen in the latest cars. Because your friend works at Energy Radio and you have access to a Mercedes Benz and
Are you
an
talking about
i8.
someone?
You have, no, Lol.
This feels like you're
I said
describing
your
someone.
friend. So I'm not firing
Yo.
shots at anyone I work with.
I have a lot of friends, yo.
I'm firing shots
Careful.
at you. Let me fire shots at you. Yeah, your friend, myself, access to energy radio, so you
Okay.
can take pictures in the latest Benzes. You have another friend that is a photographer at Kiza. So you have access there, so you're always Kiza, bottles. Then you have friends that they're smart, they're into the tech stuff, and so they can tell you a one sentence, you memorize that one sentence, and every time you're going to work, you say that one sentence, so you look like you're smart. But online, you're building this thing where it's just like, you have the perfect life. But you're seeing with all the girls, and you don't love anyone, because maybe someone broke your heart a long time ago. You're being seen in the latest cars, but you probably can't afford a Pro Box with your own money, unless it's on loan and you're gonna go into debt. You're being seen with the most expensive bottles, but you're drowning your sorrows. You're not drinking to celebrate. So are social media influencers liars? Like, is it just an image? Does it make it a lie, that 20%?
Honestly, I'll tell you this for a fact. It is a lie.
And there goes my job.
Listen.
I'm unemployed. I have nothing else. This is all I have left.
But listen, that's what people buy nowadays.
That's unfortunate.
It
That
is
says
so
more about
unfortunate.
us as the youth.
It's so unfortunate, but then people buy into that way more. Look at a movie, then like I'll talk about my own personal experience. I'll start watching a movie, then it'll be like based on a true story. In a minute, I'll just be like, oh, this is about to be some sad type of thing. But if it's fiction, these are science fictions, eh? I get excited because I know, okay, here's something I can't really grasp, I can't understand at the end of the day, but it will definitely entertain me. But if I see a true, based on a true story, then I see someone died, I'll be like, shit, that person actually died.
So social media influencers' job is to paint a fake picture in order for their followers to buy into their fake life and buy into the fake products that they're selling. And on top of that, make their following
And
hate themselves even more.
but-
Because we don't preach self-love, we don't preach self-confidence.
It's not a job.
But that's what you do.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
That's what you do.
Because we don't preach self-love, we don't preach self-confidence, we don't talk about...
And again, let me show you one thing. It's just, that's also what people want with the products. I'll come sell you alcohol and I'll show you how.
So it's
Listen,
the companies too.
it goes all the way, and you guys are already into that system.
Oh,
I'll show you my alcohol.
Fired.
I'll show you Guinness, and I'll show you how it makes you feel like a man. But I won't tell you about probably hangovers. I won't tell you about you'll drink and crash somewhere. I won't tell you that it can make you impotent. You get? I hide all that. I only give you the good, juicy stories, and that's what influencers do. They have their shitty lives actually.
My life is...
Lord.
My life is...
Behind the scenes, not to be honest. I think the difference is, what's the gap between your Instagram page and your real life?
Yeah.
The wider it is, the more... the
Funny
less.
enough.
Yeah.
Is what's the gap between your IG? Everyone has a gap.
Yeah,
Your own page.
everyone, yeah.
How big is the gap?
So then why do we attack media houses that talk negatively about people? Aren't the media houses technically showing in that circle, that little bit that's negative?
Now
So why do we attack?
now with the media, it's different. They get more views, not specifically because of the good stories, but because of the contradictions that they get across. You get?
Yeah.
You bring your product, you tell me this will make you feel good about yourself.
Confident, sexy, yeah.
As a media company, I'll come and say, bullshit. This thing will actually make you die. Then I'll get viewers. Isn't that what happens?
Yeah.
So basically entertainment and media as a whole is just a back and forth tug of war that will never end.
It is, and it's just a way of passing information. And the more you keep people yearning for more and confused, even though it is confused, the more your audience is confused, even the better. They'll keep on coming back for more to get an understanding.
Yeah.
They'll never really give you a clear picture.
So how does the audience know that what we're doing right now is not selling a lie?
They're not stupid. They're
How
not.
do they know?
Actually, even...
It depends on how they want to relate to it. If you want to take it as a lie, good for you.
it as a lie.
If you take it as the truth, take it.
Even earlier, with you said the image thing,
Yeah.
guys are not stupid. We know when you're faking.
Do you though?
Yes. Not happy.
Because I feel like the double taps don't represent how people
The
actually
picture
perceive
is good. It
things.
doesn't mean we think that's how you live. means the picture is good.
But I mean, right now, if I take a photo with Nvirii with a drink called Escobar, fancy, you know, you have cameras and lighting right now. Like, that could be interpreted in so many different ways. How do you know? How does the audience know the truth and the lie?
As someone who works, who has done media production, I've learned a thing or two about changing the audience perception of everything that's happening. We'll be here. There's just a way I'll put this and it'll look like we're fighting, or there's a way I'll put it and it'll look like we're partying.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to now. This is where we should we should be heading to. Your influence and what it does to your audience. You have that power already. Anyone who's on the media circle, be it social media or the mainstream, you have a group that you influence, and you have the power to tell them what to do or what not to do, what to feel, what not to feel.
I'm about to even fire shots at people.
You get?
I get you. Because I'm even thinking, a lot of the people that I'm working with today on different projects are people that I looked up to when I was starting social media. Those days, 1,000 followers was a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
So of course, these are people I look up to, looked, past tense, up to. But now I feel like everything we put out is just a lie. Everything is just about sex. It's about money. It's about having the most bottles in the club. And it's about taking the best Instagram pictures with the best Instagram filter. And so I think it's just unfortunate that the 16, 17-year-olds that follow us
and they believe it.
As well. Because they don't know. They're looking up to us the way I looked up to the people back then.
That's the saddest part.
Horrible, because even the lack of self-love and self-confidence we have behind closed doors is heartbreaking.
I'd really want you guys to get this once and for all. Always know that you have people watching you. Always know that.
Which can suck sometimes.
Funny enough, I got this line from you, Zone.
Take notes.
Okay, this is mine. I'm taking notes. I remember I asked you a question. We were at the Alchemist bar.
Which we go to every time.
Okay, one of those. So I was really late, feeling all confused. But then I looked at you. We drank the same, but you're keeping your cool.
Yeah.
Then I asked you one question. How do you maintain to do that? Your answer was, there's always someone watching.
Always.
So can you replicate that same thing to your media? There's always someone watching. If I post right now that I'm drinking, do you know there's a 16-year-old or 12-year-old that will see that drink and will want to drink just to look like Zone? Yeah. So, and then, you guys have a special place in hell, man. Fire is being... Yo, kuni nawekewa moto. You guys, hey, I'm out of here. Hey. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not an influencer. I'm not anything. Let me just live low-key. Father, I have nothing to do with this.
God.
I did not derail anyone.
Oh, what? That's how you end the show with a banger.
And I'm out of here.
That was a brilliant ending.